puppet master George Soros.
George Soros.
George Soros.
Liberal, left-wing billionaire George Soros.
George Soros.
Soros. George Soros.
George Soros.
George Soros.
George Snot-Nose Soros.
Today we're going to expose George Soros once and for all. Who is he? What does he want? Why do his lips taste like cinnamon? And why is everyone afraid of an 86-year-old man? George Soros. You've probably heard his name before, but have no idea who he is other than a billionaire. Some on the right say he's a demon, a golem, a leftist Cthulhu using his mouth tentacles to pull the strings of a shadowy new world order. And some on the left say, who the f*** is George Soros, and why does your breath smell like Vicodin? Is Soros simply a progressive philanthropist and democratic donor, or something more sinister? So what's the truth? Well, after months of research from a variety of internet sources, I have finally exposed the truth. I'm Matt Lieb, and this is George Soros Exposed.
George Soros Exposed!
Great animation, Marisa. Maybe a little bit over the top, but that's cool. Let's get into it. The first thing you need to know about Hungarian billionaire George Soros is that his last name isn't Soros at all. He was born Georgy Schwartz.
Exposed! Soros is a liar!
Why the name change, Mr. Soros? What were you hiding from? Nazis. Okay, fair enough. Well, that can only mean...
Exposed! Soros is a Jew!
Wow, I was gonna say Holocaust survivor. Marisa, again, love the animations, but you think we can avoid the whole Jewish thing? I don't want to paint these critiques as just anti-Semitic.
Exposed! Soros is a Zionist!
All right, still sounds like a code word, but let's just look into it. Is it true? If you search George Soros' name on YouTube, you'll see dozens of videos calling him a Zionist. And if YouTube says it, it must be true, or my name isn't Francesca Fiorentini. However, George Soros actually funds multiple Palestinian rights and anti-occupation organizations. Israeli politicians are even trying to pass a law banning donations from George Soros. So, if he's not a Zionist, and he's critical of the Israeli government, that could mean...
Exposed! Soros is a Nazi collaborator!
Whoa, that is not what I was gonna say. I was gonna say anti-Zionist. No one is calling him a Nazi collaborator.
George Soros, who was a Hungarian Jew, who actually worked with the real Nazis.
Okay, turns out some people are actually calling him a Nazi collaborator, despite the fact that his family had to pretend to be Christian in order to survive the Holocaust, and also the fact that he was 14 years old when the Nazis invaded Hungary. And I don't care what Roy Moore says, 14 is not old enough to consent to anything. Gross. George Soros was not a Nazi collaborator. He has no ties with Nazis whatsoever.
Do you think George Soros funded the neo-Nazis who marched in Charlottesville?
Wouldn't it be interesting to find out? And look at the background. George Soros is one of those people that actually helps, back these individuals.
Wait. So that congressman is saying...
Exposed! Soros is a neo-Nazi!
For those of you unfamiliar with the Charlottesville false flag conspiracy, the theory is that Soros paid non-Nazis to pose as Nazis to make the Nazis at the Nazi rally look more like Nazis. I'm having a stroke and I smell burning toast. The theory was created by conspiracist and constipated Peppa Pig Alex Jones. PolitiFact actually looked into this claim, and not surprisingly, they gave it a fact rating of pants on fire, which I assume is their way of saying they would rather set their genitals aflame than continue to fact check Alex Jones. For the last time, George Soros is not a Nazi. He hates fascists. George Soros is anti-fascist. Do not...
Exposed! Soros is Antifa!
So this is how powerful George Soros is to the right. He's somehow both Antifa and fa at the same time. He's like a self-eating snake, a George Soros Ouroboros, if you will. Probably the most pervasive Soros conspiracy theory is that all left-wing protesters are secretly receiving a paycheck from him. Everything from the Women's March to the Science March to whatever the this is was bought and paid for by Mr. Tyrannosaurus himself. This paid protesters meme stems from the fact that Soros funds the Open Society Foundation, an NGO that gives grants to progressive causes like racial justice, immigration reform, women's rights, trans rights, and criminal justice reform. You know, in the same way that right-wing billionaires like Elston, the Koch brothers, the Mercers, they fund things like the NRA, the Tea Party, climate change deniers, and Jake Paul, probably. I mean, someone is paying for that guy. How does he have money? When right-wing billionaires do it, the response is, well, this is America, and the money is free speech. But when Soros does it, it's, what is it, Soviet Russia? So how did George Soros become so rich and powerful? He attended the London School of Economics and eventually came to the United States, where he started multiple hedge funds and became one of the most successful investors in the world. So therefore,
Exposed! Soros is a communist!
what? That's literally the opposite of what I said. All the evidence points to the fact that he is a mega capitalist. No one actually claims that he's a communist, right?
And my friend there, George Soros, the commie there.
George Soros is a communist.
It is Soros and communists.
George Soros, admitted communist.
How many red pills do you need to swallow to look at a hedge fund billionaire and think, goddamn, communist? George Soros is not a communist. He funded pro-democracy programs in the former Soviet Union, in nations like Hungary, and he actually helped them peacefully transition from communism to democracy. The real hate affair between Soros and the right began when he spoke out against the war in Iraq and fought against the re-election of George W. Bush. He also helped fund Hillary Clinton's campaign, so therefore the right probably believes.
Exposed! Soros controls the US government!
Of course he does, except for the times his candidates lost to a reality TV show host and a literal war criminal. Soros has been slightly more effective on a local level. In the past year, he gave more than $3 million to 7 local district attorney campaigns, specifically supporting people of color candidates who share his belief that the criminal justice system needs to be reformed. But supporting people of color candidates, that must mean...
Exposed! Soros is reverse racist!
That's not a thing!
Exposed! Soros is racist!
How can George Soros be racist against white people? Isn't he white?
Exposed! White Jews aren't white anymore!
Marisa, where are you getting this
Exposed! The comment section! Check it out, Matt!
Ah, the comment section. The only place that makes me feel ethnic. So in review, to the right wing, Soros is many, many things. A capitalist, communist, fascist, Antifa, reverse racist, non-white, white Zionist, anti-Zionist billionaire who has taken over our government, except for Bush and Trump and most of the government, and is literally the devil. But the reality is more like Soros is a billionaire who likes progressive causes, from immigrant rights to free speech. He's like if the Kochs and the Adelstons and the Mercers pooled their money together and bought themselves a heart. So the truth is...
Exposed! Soros is pretty good for a billionaire!
Yeah, and sure, billionaires have way too much power in our politics, but why single Soros out? How is it that he somehow fits into every possible mold of villain, no matter how antithetical? Why are people so easily fooled into believing these ridiculous conspiracy theories?
Exposed George Soros!
Well, back to where we all started. Thank you so much for watching our video about George Soros and all the ridiculous conspiracy theories. Please subscribe and comment and tell us what you think about George Soros, and if he actually is doing anything wrong, you know, let us know, because most of my research pointed to him being like kind of pretty good, but I'm sure he's doing some bad things. But mostly, I mean, what rich person isn't? If you're rich, you're probably a bastard. Subscribe. Too much?